Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, we are going to go over the specs of the Xbox Series X, compare it with the PS5, and see how both of them stack up with the existing Nintendo Switch. Let's get started. Alright, let's jump right into things right now and take a look at a side-by-side comparison of the specs between the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. This is being referenced from IGN's website. I will leave a link to this in the description below. So looking at things here, first and foremost, they're releasing around the same time, holiday time of this year. The pricing has not been announced just yet. Now in terms of optical drives, we have them both listed here at 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray drives. We don't have specifics of each drive, but chances are they will be fairly comparable. What I am surprised about is that both of these systems do have optical drives. If you would have asked me, I don't know, maybe a year ago, if the next generation of systems would have optical drives, I would probably say one of them won't. And that's just because of the way the industry is moving, the way games are moving. Most things are now moving towards digital. Most CDs now that you get when you buy a PlayStation game, for example, require you to download content in order for it to work, require you to install something for the hard drive in order for it to work. So seeing optical drives here is good, but at the same time, I'll talk about it a little later on, it doesn't really matter. In terms of RAM, both of these systems are listed at 16 gigabytes of GDDR6. For the memory bandwidth, we really start to see a difference here between the systems. For the PlayStation 5, we can see 448 gigabytes a second. For the Xbox Series X, I'm looking at 10 gigabytes at 560 gigabytes a second, and the additional 6 at 335 gigabytes a second. Now on paper, this is where the Xbox Series X scores a point. We don't necessarily know how this is going to translate when you're playing a video game. If developers can take use of this, they probably can, but at the same time, we won't know until we get some real world tests. So at this point on paper, the Xbox Series X scores 1 point. Now looking at the CPU for both of these systems, they're both using an 8-core AMD processor. Intel is not being used. The PlayStation 5 is clocked in at 3.5 HGs. I think that's supposed to say gigahertz, and we'll just correct it. 3.5 gigahertz. The Xbox Series X is looking at 3.8 gigahertz for their cores, or 3.6 gigahertz with simultaneous multi-threading. So the Xbox Series X wins this category. Not only are the cores clocked faster than the PS5, they also offer simultaneous multi-threading, SMT, which in a nutshell allows the processor to be more efficient. Moving on to GPUs, both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are using a custom AMD Radeon RDNA Navi. Now, custom is the most important word in that sentence. Both Sony and Microsoft have customized these GPUs. Sony right now is offering 36 compute units at 2.3 gigahertz, where Microsoft is offering 52 compute units at 1.825 gigahertz. And I'll try not to get too technical on this, but at a high level here, the Xbox Series X GPU, although it's running at a slower speed, is also better. However, if we look one step below in video output, it says that the PS5 will do 4K at 120 Hz refresh rate and 8K support. The Xbox Series X is native 4K with 8K support up to 120 Hz. Now for my 2 cents, don't get too excited where it says video output 8K support. That does not necessarily mean 8K games. I would say both of these systems, the way they are set up, would be a pretty big struggle to run 8K games at 120 frames per second. I don't see that happening. I could be wrong. It could be possible, maybe later on down the line, but based on this current configuration, it does not look like 8K games are feasible. But regardless, if you are wondering who is going to pump out better graphics, the Xbox Series X is tooled up to be able to pump out better graphics. Now, in terms of data transfer speeds, Sony really makes a statement here. So we can see Sony is listed at 5.5 gigabytes a second raw and 8 to 9 gigabytes a second compressed versus Microsoft's 2.4 gigabytes a second raw, and 4.8 gigabytes a second compressed. So Sony's numbers here are almost twice as fast as Microsoft. And basically what that means is that the PlayStation 5 has the potential to load things considerably faster than the already really fast Xbox Series X. In terms of storage size, it doesn't really matter at all. You can't really compare the two because while Xbox is listed at 1 terabyte versus the 825 gigs of Sony's is also incredibly faster. Both of these systems will have external storage support, so at the end of the day, you can probably make them pretty even in terms of overall capacity. Now, in terms of controllers, I can't really make a fair comparison because we don't know what the DualShock 5 is going to look like. We've seen the patent filings, we've seen some mock-ups, but we have not seen the final design. Now, here is the final design for the Series X controller. Now, I can't say for certain that this controller here is going to be great, if there's going to be quality issues with it, if it's going to be comfortable or not. If it's anything like the Xbox One controller, I'm going to love it. The biggest concern I actually have is the D-pad. So the D-pad I absolutely love in the Xbox One controller. I think this is a fantastic D-pad. It's got a love-hate relationship with some people, but pretty much all D-pads do. There's no perfect answer out there just yet. I'm really hoping that this isn't a general feel like the 360 D-pad, because the Xbox One D-pad was a huge step in the right direction. If this is like the 360 D-pad, I think it will be a step back. For the DualShock 5, we literally have no idea. When it comes down to it, on paper, the Xbox beats the PS5. The Xbox has a better CPU, it has faster RAM, it has a better GPU. The PS5 does have faster data transfer speeds, but that's it. Now, in terms of the developer's ability to take full advantage of the specs of the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, I don't know which system will be easier to develop for, but what I can say is the system that is easier to develop for will probably shine a little brighter. Now, comparing the Xbox Series X and PS5 with the Nintendo Switch for power and performance, the Switch loses by a lot, by a very wide margin. Now, before anyone gets riled up with that statement, there's nothing to get angry about. It's a true statement. On paper, the PS5 and the Series X completely crushed the Nintendo Switch. Now, the whole reason I brought the Nintendo Switch into this argument is not necessarily to show that the Switch is woefully underpowered compared to the other two, but it's to show that the games are what matters. If someone's happy with the games on a certain system, that's what matters. You could have the most powerful system out there and have no games for it or no great games for it, and no one will want to play it or buy it. And that's really what I'm talking about. Now, comparing the Xbox Series X with the PS5 with the Nintendo Switch, there is a clear winner. That clear winner is the system that you want to buy, or none of the systems if you're a PC gamer. Really, at the end of the day, if you're happy with the system and you're happy with the exclusives and you're really looking forward to playing those games, that's the system for you. But anyways, that's all I've got for today. Let me know what you think of the specs of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.